you must be quite relieved that you've survived.
Well, and I think so have the residents and workers in Sandton. And in fact, many of them have welcomed it. And some of them are saying to us, why do we need to go back to the car things? Can we not continue with the park and rides, with the Hout train, and with West Street being so quiet and being so pedestrian friendly?
So what were your hopes going in?
Our hopes going in were really to get people to change their way they move, to take a chance and explore it. Secondly, to be able to showcase what we're doing and what we can continue to doing to decongest Sandton. And thirdly, to create a debate and an engagement and awareness about the relationship between cars and congestion and climate change and air pollution and healthy lifestyles or the lack thereof. And I think we've managed to do a lot of that.
Do you think people got it? Did the penny drop, do you think?
We were surprised that yes, and if we look particularly at some of the analysis that we did, for example, on Twitter, we found that there was, yes, initially negative sentiment, but a lot of interest. And by the end of the period, quite a lot of positive sentiment about ecomobility and a good understanding about the fact that as an individual, you can make a difference to all these problems that are coming about climate change and drought and so on, if you make a change and you don't use your car as much as you have in the past.
All right, so what have we learned as a city through this experiment?
I think that as a city we've learned a lot about the importance of public engagement. We've always known that, but I think it's been reinforced that if you have a lot of engagement, you get better results and you get a lot of goodwill. I think the second thing that, in fact, the international people were telling us is that we've become a very responsive city, and that there are a lot of examples. For example, we had residents in Parkmore who were very anxious about having a park and ride on their back door, but we talked to them, and eventually they became part of it. We had a Jewish community that were anxious about that people wouldn't be able to go there, and we accommodated them. So I think just the fact that we were able to be responsive. We, for example, took the exhibition to Alexandra at the request of some of the community groups there. And that was a wonderful success, where many more people from Alexandra could play with the Ecomobile vehicles, could experience cycling, and could hear about the history of transport in our country.
So is this the future of the city of Johannesburg, in your view?
Going public transport, walking and cycling is a priority. We believe so, obviously not only in Sandton, but across the city. And as I think the Executive Mayor has been saying, we do have a fairly extensive program of investment supported by national government to be able to create quality, reliable and safe public transport, walking and cycling alternatives.
All right, so tomorrow's day 30, it comes to an end. What happens after that? Is some of it going to stay in place, or does everything just get scrapped away?
Well, we are keeping some of the things in place, obviously not the road closures. But for example, there's been a lot of welcome and support for the managed lanes, which are in the contraflow, which is something quite a risky thing for us to do, but we did it and we policed it, and we're hoping that we'll reintroduce that. Obviously, the public transport services remain, and maybe some people who were reluctant to go on a minibus taxi now have got a new appreciation that it's not such a scary mode for a car-captured person.
And often with projects like this, you start to talk about legacy. What would you say would be the legacy of the Ecomobility Festival?
Well, I think there's two legacies. The one is obviously the infrastructure work that we've started to do and we're going to continue to do in putting in place broader sidewalks, better public lighting, cycle lanes, and then obviously the rear via BRT and dedicated for public transport that we're doing across, not only in Sandton, but Alexandra, Ivory Park, Sunning Hill, Midrand, and so on. And then there is the legacy of people having a better appreciation and understanding and being able to make that change and go and use public transport, particularly on trips where they can do it. If they're office bound and they just have to go in and out of the office. Because yes, there are some people who do have to use a car, but there are many people who can make the change and have done so. And we hope that the festival has inspired them to continue to do so.
So how does it all come to an end tomorrow?
Well, in fact, we've got an Ecoblock party, we're calling it, still in the streets, still in West Street, and we'll be showing on big screens both the very exciting soccer derby from Soweto as well as the World Cup rugby final. And then we've also got some entertainment, including black coffee and Mafiki Zolo. But we really want to encourage, and it's really a celebration of the success of the festival, and also to thank the residents of Johannesburg for being part of us and supporting the Ecomobility Festival.
And from here, the mayor will go to, is it COP21?
That's right.
In Paris. What's he likely to tell the people in Paris?
Well, in fact, in the first week of the festival, we had Ecomobility dialogues, and we had a number of international players and mayors from other cities, and there was a declaration, Johannesburg Declaration, Ecomobility in Cities, and that really talks about promoting ecomobility in cities and makes commitments by cities, as well as calling on national governments and international organizations. So the mayor will be taking that declaration to Paris to be able to lobby for the issues that are in it, as well as to be able to show that cities must be counted in the global campaign against negative climate change.
All right, Lisa, we're going to have to leave it there, but
Sure.
you know, with the drought that's taking place, El Nino, I think that hits home the importance of what's been going on in Sandton this past month. But thank you very much indeed, and I'm sure that on Monday you can rest a bit.
Sure, thanks a lot.
Thanks. That was Lisa Seftel. We're going to take a quick break.